Welcome back. It's Zunno. We keep it on the low on this channel. You already know. We are watching top 20 new games of 2022. Now you know me. I'm a gamer. I like playing games. But let's get into
So we've covered
Gameranx.
the first half
Shout out
of the
to
year
Jake
2022,
Baldino.
and now
Be a
we're
beast,
looking
bro.
towards the future, the second half of 2022, and some of the most anticipated game releases. Now, here's
Wait. Let me see that quality good. What's that? 480p? Oh, here we go. Let's see what this quality look like.
a roundup of
got that
20 games.
crisp.
Keep in mind that release
looks so
dates
much
are
better already.
always subject to change,
you.
especially
Thank you,
lately.
Gameranx, for the good
We always
quality.
see delays, and we could still also get some surprise game announcements.
Hey, that's a
You never
mobile.
know. But for
Yo.
now, let's get started
You know what's
off
funny? That
with
For
number
Smoking
20.
game is pushed to
Evil
next year.
West is a
Freaking.
game where I just gotta throw objectivity out of the window.
Okay.
This is exactly the type of game I want. Just a video game as hell video game, and I mean that as a compliment. This is
Facts,
a kind
facts.
of sci-fi western third-person shooter action game. It's just a linear adventure that you progress through, and you are like a superhero cowboy man. You deal with a six-shooter,
play this,
and
I
you're
ain't gonna lie.
blowing away bad guys, specifically vampires. Yes, the Wild West has been taken over by hordes of vampires, and it's up to you to use your gadgets, your six-shooters, but also this cool lightning fist gauntlet to like punch them. It just looks ridiculous and fun and gory, and just what the doctor ordered
Looks like a
sometimes.
fun game.
It reminds us of something from the 2000s, the 2010s, and we're really looking forward to it. It's releasing on all the major consoles September 20th,
Gameranx,
2022.
please let me post this video.
Now, next over at number 19, we have High on Life. This is the Justin Roiland Squanch Games' newest game. So if you're into Rick and
I
Morty
definitely
and that
wouldn't play
style
this
of
game.
humor and
Just
wackiness,
personally, I just
this
wouldn't
might
care
be
for
right
it.
up your alley. This is a sci-fi first-person shooter where the different guns all have different alien personalities, and I'm not gonna lie, it just looks like a ton of fun. It seems like they've got some talented comedians and voice actors behind a lot of the roles, and it
This
just
is
looks like a
about the
breath
Rick
of
and
fresh
Morty
air, something
people
different.
made
You know,
this, I think.
Squanch Games for the
Or
longest
people.
time now has
You know
been
what I
pumping
mean.
out cool projects. They did some cool VR stuff, but now they're getting their hand at a full, seemingly pretty big budget
I feel like
game.
I have,
It
like,
looks ambitious and it looks funny.
nightmares
Most importantly, High
after
on Life
playing
is
this game.
releasing October 5th, 2022
Personally,
for
probably
PC
not
and
for me.
Xbox.
Yeah, definitely not for
Next
me.
over at number 18, we have The Lord of the Rings Gollum. Now, this is a game specifically focused around
I don't
Gollum
know about this
creeping
game,
around
honestly.
Middle-earth, doing
I
sketchy
might. I
things.
like
It's not
stealth games.
necessarily based on the movie. If you could tell by the art style, they're going for a little bit of a different look for the character. And the game is focused around you making decisions as Gollum or Smeagol, you know, the voices in his head, but also trying to mostly avoid combat because he's pretty weak through stealth. It's not often these days that we get a good solid stealth game anymore, just truly dedicated to it, so we're curious to see how this pans out.
Hopefully
He
it's
seems
good.
pretty nimble, he can get around the environments pretty quickly, but the jury's still out on the quality of this one. We've seen some gameplay trailers that don't look so hot, but we can't help but just like Lord of the Rings and weird, strange Lord of the Rings games that show us a different side of
honest, I'm
Middle-earth,
not crazy
so
about
we're still
Lord of the
keeping our eye on
Rings.
it. It releases
I think Lord
September
of the Rings
1st,
is like
2022 for all
okay
the major
for me.
consoles.
I'm just not a
Now,
big
next
fan.
over at number 17, we have Stray. Yes, this is the cat game. That's the best
I
way
don't
to
know.
describe it. Stray essentially is
I
like
might
a
check it out.
third-person
But to me,
cat
it's just gonna
adventure
be
game
like a
where you're a lone cat
5-hour
stuck in
game
a
that
seemingly
I can just
abandoned
watch on
dystopian
YouTube,
futuristic
so
city where all the
I
humans are
personally
gone,
probably
but
won't
there
pay
are
it.
robots
Just don't
living
wanna
there.
spend, like,
You adventure through
$60.
as this cat with a little drone friend you met, climbing, exploring, solving
I think it
puzzles,
looks good,
running
though.
from danger, interacting with the locals, and actually doing
concept.
cat stuff, like scratching on a wall or knocking
Okay,
stuff
bet,
over,
bet,
just
bet.
kind of being a jerk. I mean, no disrespect to cats. I really like them, and I'm looking forward to playing this. We've talked about this one quite a bit already, so we'll move on, but
I
Stray
don't
is
like cats,
releasing
so
for PlayStations and PC
I don't care for
on
cats.
July 19th.
This cat looks cool. to
Next
me,
over
though.
at number 16,
Looks
we have
cool. Looks
Marvel's
awesome.
Midnight Suns. This is Firaxis Games' take on a Marvel game, and it's going for some darker material, but also
bet.
teaming up some really cool characters like Wolverine and Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange
Alright, bet.
to take on a new enemy, and it's in a top-down kind of strategic XCOM style, what this studio really specializes in. There's sort of a card system in terms of choosing your moves and your attacks,
Oh,
and I think
it's
the
one of them
gameplay can just
games.
make for some really
gonna
fun
be one of
and
them games.
challenging spots, you know, if you're into XCOM or any type of
It's gonna be
strategy
one of them
game like
games.
this. I'm really hoping they nail it, but I'm just looking forward to the story and really seeing these characters in their full glory again. Blade,
I'm sorry,
Hulk,
but
Venom,
I'm not
Wolverine,
interested in
all
no
in the same game.
where I
I'm in.
play with
As of right now,
cards.
Marvel's Midnight Suns is
If I wanna
releasing
play
October
cards,
7th for all
I'll
the
play
major
blackjack.
consoles.
I'll
Next
play
over at number
poker.
15,
I'll
we
play
have
something.
Skull and Bones. This is Ubisoft's long dormant title finally
gonna be honest with
resurfacing
y'all.
this year and finally
I don't
releasing.
really
And what
care
it
about
is
the
a
pirate
pirate
genre.
adventure game.
It's alright
You
to
make
me.
your own pirate
It can be
captain.
good.
You wander
But I
around
don't care
ports
for it
in
that much
third
either.
person. You customize, you loot, you sell, you trade, you hop in your ship, command your crew, and go on
It sounds
adventures and
good.
engage in naval
Look, it
combat.
sounds
You're
good.
doing it either alone in
It
a
sounds
single-player campaign
good to
or
the
with a
ears.
group of friends, which is where
But
probably a lot of the fun is going to
yeah,
be had. If you
with
played
the
anything like
multiplayer is
Sea of
probably gonna be
Thieves,
the
you know
funnest.
manning a ship with a bunch of other
But
people
I don't
can be a
know.
blast. This is a
You
little
know,
bit of a different
Ubisoft
spin on
has been
things
taking
compared to Sea of
L's
Thieves, and I'm
recently.
curious to see how it pans
Ubisoft
out. We'll
has-
know in the fall when it
Assassin's
releases
Creed
November
games have been
8th for all the
going
major consoles.
downhill.
Next over at number
Personally, that's what I
14,
think.
we have Splatoon
I just think
3.
Ubisoft's
It's
not
incredibly
there.
awesome to see this franchise return
Okay.
once again with
They
new
making
competitive
me now.
modes,
They trying to put me in
seemingly
the
a
clubhouse.
bigger
I ain't gonna
open-world
play no kids
single-player
game.
adventure, and of
Okay,
course,
I'm sorry.
lots of
I'm sorry.
creativity. The multiplayer in Splatoon games can get incredibly addictive, and I'm really curious to see how they're going to expand
play
upon it
Splatoon,
this time.
so
We're still waiting to hear a
couldn't be
lot
me.
more for this, but we know this holiday season we're definitely going to be playing it on Nintendo Switch because it releases September 9th. Next over at number 13, we have
Okay.
Saints Row. Yes,
Whatever.
Saints Row has been completely
I don't know about
rebooted.
Saints Row
They
either.
dropped the numbers,
looks
and now
good.
it's
I
Saints
think
Row. You
customization
build up
would be
your
awesome.
own new criminal from the
But I
ground
just
up
don't
with a
think
pretty
it'll be
detailed character
intriguing. It
creator,
won't
and you are set
have
loose
depth
on a
to
new
it, you know
kind
what
of
I'm saying?
deserty Las
I looked
Vegas
at the
type
map, I
city.
didn't
At
really
first,
care
I was a
for
little
the map.
skeptical and curious to see if they
Yeah.
would actually retain some of the craziness that they really set up with some of the last games, but nope, it seems like all the insane hijinks are going to ensue. You
That's
can
cool.
glide around the city. You could explode helicopters with bazookas, jump out of cars, and run
I
around
just
in
don't
your
think the
underwear.
missions will
That's
be
really
fun.
all
I
I
think
really
the
cared
missions
about
will
with
be
Saints
like,
Row
go
games.
here,
I just
do
hope they keep
this.
it super dumb and
Kill some
super
people,
fun. Hopefully, it
wreck a
doesn't
bunch
feel
of
lifeless.
places.
We'll have to judge it
Hold
when
this
we get our
point.
hands on it. It's
It's gonna be
releasing
simple stuff like
August
that.
23rd, 2022 for all the major consoles.
I might check it out.
Next
though.
over at number 12, we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. These games are following up Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Never really
with
played
what you would
Pokemon
expect like a
either.
more
I'm not-
traditional
I'm not trying to
Pokemon
be a
game,
hater.
but in
Look,
this
look.
new wide
Yeah,
open
look, I'm not a
fully
hater, I
3D
promise. I
formula.
promise I'm
As
not a
you've
hater.
probably seen from the gameplay trailers,
I just
some of
don't
the
play
exploration
everything.
and everything looks really promising. Not too much to say about this one yet, other than that technically it's the
looks
first
dope, though.
installment in the
I don't
9th
like the
generation of
turn-based
Pokemon game series. And it's
combat
going to be
now,
keeping some
to
of
be
us
honest.
busy on Switch November 18th, 2022.
That was like.
Now, next over at number 11, we
2000s
have Atomic Heart.
Game
Now,
Boy.
this awesome, creative, Bioshock-inspired, like alternate history, Soviet
looks good.
sci-fi thing is really just unlike any other adventure we've seen, and we've been hooked on this
I
one
won't
and
be
anticipating
surprised
this
if
one
it's a delay.
for a while. Now, so many games have been
Hope
hit
not,
with
but-
delays. So as of right now, Atomic Heart doesn't have a rock-solid release date, but it's still slated for the fourth quarter of 2022
It's
at the
gonna be
time of
delayed.
making this video, so we wanted to highlight
This
it.
year's
We
just
really hope to see it this
disappointing
year,
for delays.
but
But
if it
next
doesn't make
year,
it this year, and any
hopefully
really
no
any
delays
game on
at
this
all.
list, we don't want them to rush. Take your time, make a good game.
True that.
Now, next over at number 10, we have
It doesn't look bad,
Overwatch
though.
2. Overwatch 2 has been in the works for quite some time, and as of recently, a lot of people have been able to experience it
gonna
with
lie,
the PvP
look.
beta. There is a lot going on with Overwatch 2.
It's the same thing as
Specifically,
Overwatch
if you're
1.
more of a
I,
hardcore fan, you'll appreciate the nuances and what they're going to offer. Most particularly, a new character who seems pretty cool. There's definitely still a lot more news to come out about
I
this
think
one. We
it's-
do know
it's
that
just
it
the
is
same
now
game
going to
with
be
new
a
characters,
free-to-play
y'all,
release,
and just
which
like a
definitely
story
makes
mode.
things interesting.
But they add
Overwatch 2
nothing
is
to the
releasing
game.
October 4th of this year.
Overwatch is kind.
Now, next over at number 9, we have
Overwatch might
Xenoblade
be
Chronicles 3. 2 is absolutely awesome. It's one of my favorite Switch
Never played
JRPGs
it.
ever. So I'm really looking
Probably
forward
won't
to
play
3.
this.
If you don't know, it's an action JRPG with open
It's
world
just, I want
exploration and
good-
tons
if I
of
wanna
RPG
buy a
stuff like
game,
questing,
I want it
character
to be
building,
something
and party
good.
members to build out.
Not
These games have a
something
lot of
mediocre.
personality, a lot
This
of
one
heart,
doesn't look
good
bad.
character depth,
I
and
just
good solid moments, and a good amount of
don't know
style,
if it's worth the
specifically with the
price it's
battles.
asking
If it's
for,
anywhere
you know
near
what I'm
as
saying?
good as 2, I think that's a
Like,
win, and if it
is it
surpasses
worth, like,
it,
am I
that would
really
be pretty
gonna play it?
awesome. It's releasing July
Like, you know what I
29th,
mean?
2022 on Nintendo Switch. Next over at number
might be
8,
good,
we
though.
have Scorn.
Might be good,
This
though.
long-awaited game
I'm
finally
definitely not
has a
playing
release
this.
date, and it's just
course, it's only on
definitely
X.
not your
Huh.
typical first-person shooter. I mean, if this is the first time you're seeing gameplay of it, yes, it is
Why
very
can't we
unique.
all
It is incredibly,
just
deeply
play
inspired by
games
H.R.
on either
Geiger, H.R.
platform?
Giger style art.
Why
the guy,
not?
the artist who created
Why
a lot of the
can't
initial
PS5
concepts
become
and
in
designs
agreement
for
with
the
Xbox?
original Alien
Why
film.
can't we
So it's
just
got some
all come
creative
to
kind of
agreement?
bio organic horror elements to it, and it looks like it could be very cool. cool to
PS5
explore
better,
these
but that's
worlds.
not the
Graphics
point.
seem pretty intense. We're still
That's
not
not the
totally
point.
sure what the
Okay,
deal is with
PS5 is
gameplay,
better.
how
I
much
ain't
of
gonna
it's
lie.
really shooting,
But
how much of it
Xbox,
is just
they
exploration
definitely
and puzzle
bought
solving. But in terms of the
Bethesda,
atmosphere,
and
the
they'll
vibe,
have
they got it on lock. This
they'll
one has
have
been a
better
long
stuff.
time coming, and we hope it's
I
worth
did not
it.
care
We'll be
for
checking
just
it out
scoring.
on PC and Xbox October
If y'all
21st,
if y'all
2022.
really want me to play it, if I somehow
Now, next over at number
if you-
7, we
if
have
y'all
Call of
want me
Duty
to,
Modern
I
Warfare
have like
2. That's
I don't know,
right, they're
1,000
making a Call
viewers.
of Duty
I don't
again.
know.
Can you
Let's
believe
say
it?
5,000
Never in a
viewers
million
that want
years
me
would
to
I
play it,
expect
I'll
to
play that
see
scoring.
another
I'll go
Call
buy
of
it.
Duty game.
If
I'm
that's
kidding.
how
I'm sorry.
if I
but
somehow get
I actually
5,000
really
out of
liked
nowhere,
Modern Warfare,
we'll buy it.
specifically
We'll buy
the
it.
campaign. The graphics were great. The action was pretty crazy. So if they could do that again and have
That's
some
good.
compelling multiplayer, it'll probably be a win. I mean, I know Call of
If
Duty
it's the
is
same as
just
Modern Warfare,
automatic
yeah,
wins
it's gonna
for
be
some
W.
people. They just go out and buy
It
them
would
every
definitely
year.
be
But
W.
the series always kind of needs a shake-up, and
I ain't
maybe
gonna
this will be
lie,
it.
Vanguard
We don't know
was the
too
worst
much
Call
about
of
the
Duty
game
game
yet.
I
It'll
have
probably
ever
start
played in
getting
my life.
revealed more soon.
It's
But
better
as of the
than
time
what,
of making this
Ghost?
video, we just know it's releasing for all
The
the
one with
major
the aliens,
consoles
bro.
October 28th.
It's better than
Next
Ghost,
over at
bro,
number
I
6,
swear.
we have Gotham Knights. This is an action game in an
I don't
open
know
world
about
Gotham
Gotham
where
Knights.
you
It
can play
looks
as
good,
Nightwing,
but,
Batgirl,
like,
Robin, or Red
I'm
Hood.
just afraid
So
about the
in this,
gameplay, bro.
story-wise,
I'm just
Batman
afraid
is
about
dead,
the
but the
gameplay.
city
It
is
just
still
looks a
just
little
as
choppy,
screwed as
a
ever.
little
So it's
bit.
up to the Bat family to come together
don't
and fight
know.
against some cool villains, some of which we
Not,
haven't
like,
seen in
impactful
games
when you
before,
get-
like
you
the
know what I'm
Court of
saying?
Owls. Combat
Like,
looks to
I
be
want it
sort
to
of
be
Batman
good,
Arkham style, but a
but
little bit
I'm
different, a little bit more
skeptical as
focused on
crap.
like two players playing together and using their moves together. Though they have clarified that you can play this completely single player. I'm excited for this one just as like a
like the
hardcore
trailer that came
Batman
out didn't
comic
look that
fan.
good
I'm
to
excited
me.
to see
It
what
just
they can
looked
do with
choppy
these
and
characters.
stuff.
But the
It's a good
combat so
idea, it's
far
just-
doesn't look as smooth as it could be.
Yeah,
but again, the jury's still
exactly.
out. We have to
Combat
actually
is
play it.
not
We have to
smooth
feel
at
it in
all.
our hands, and we're going to do that. I still think the concept on paper is pretty cool.
And the missions
Teaming
better
up
be
maybe
freaking
online with another
cool
player to play
and
cooperative
awesome.
and cruise
It
around
better
on
not be
bat
the
cycles
same
through an open world
boring
Gotham
crap.
fighting crime. Like, that sounds pretty awesome, and the story could be pretty
Exactly.
cool, but we'll just have to wait and see. Thankfully,
Yeah.
after them making this and teasing it for many years, we finally hopefully get to play it
I
without
honestly
any more
think it's gonna be
delays.
like a 5
October
out of 10
25th
game or a
of
6 out
this
of 10
year.
game. You're gonna get it, and you're gonna be
Now, next over at
hyped
number
about
5,
it.
we have
But
Crisis
once
Core.
the first day over, the first few days over, you're gonna be like, I beat the game, or you're gonna be like, man, the game too long. The progressions it takes forever to do. Or you're gonna say, man, it's like boring and stuff. You know, just like I don't want to go on anymore. It's the same missions repeated, copy and paste, just in a different different form.
Fantasy
There's, like,
VII
different goons
Reunion.
and stuff, so
Yes,
I just hope
they're
it's not like
basically
that.
remaking-ish Crisis Core for all those Final Fantasy VII hardcore fans. And this is an incredible story that was not experienced by enough people.
All right, don't care. I'm sorry.
We have the Callisto
Alright.
Protocol. This is what I said
This
at the start
looks
of this video, just
decent.
another
I never
video
played
game
Dead
ass
Space.
video
Everybody
game.
says they love Dead
It's
Space,
straight
so.
up a single-player fun action
might be
narrative
fun, though.
adventure, heavily inspired by Dead Space. In a lot of ways, it's the spiritual successor to Dead
If y'all
Space
comment on the
because
video
some of
and
the people
say
that worked on that are working
something,
on this game. We always
some
need
Dead
more
Space.
survival horror games. We
I'll be
always need
down.
more tense,
I hate
brutal
scary
sci-fi
games.
games. So
I
we're
hate
all
scary
signed up for
games.
this one. There's not
So if
too
y'all
much more
want me
we
to play
can say.
scary
If you've
games, I'll
seen the
play it,
gameplay, you
but
pretty much
then-
get what it is. Straightforward
I would
third-person
hate playing
tension
scary
in dark
games. I'd
atmospheric
do,
space stations. That's all we want, baby. So the Callisto Protocol is
I'll have to
releasing
do,
on all the major consoles
get a face
December
kit by
2nd,
that time.
2022. Now, down to number 3, we have A Plague Tale Requiem, which is a follow-up to one of my favorite games, A Plague Tale Innocence.
Never played
this is
it.
a single-player
It seemed
action
alright,
adventure
though, from
narrative
what you
where you
reviewed
play
it.
as Amicia, trying to escort her special brother, Hugo, through a plague-infested world. However, the stakes are definitely higher this time around, with Amicia growing up into more of a badass. It seems like there's more combat, more of a threat, and Hugo himself has also developed some interesting characteristics. If you've played the first game, you know what I mean. The first game was incredibly fun, beautiful, gory, depressing, nasty, and unique. So we're hoping that the second game can really top that. It's releasing October 18th, 2022. Now, down at number 2, we have Hogwarts Legacy. This seems to be the Harry Potter game that a lot of people have been waiting for.
I think it's gonna be
This
good.
is essentially a game where
I
you
think it's gonna
create
be
your own
clean,
student,
bro.
you choose what
It looks
house you're in,
clean.
and you go
Looks
on some
good.
sort of cool magical
like it.
wizarding adventure. This is kind of a prequel
I wonder how they're
to
gonna
what we
do
know of
hand-to-hand
Harry Potter.
combat
It
if you
takes
do
place
or
many,
you might just
many,
use your
many
wand
years
to do
before
everything.
Voldemort or
Everything's
anybody. And the
strange,
potential
but
seems there,
it looks
obviously, for
good.
Harry Potter
Yeah,
fans, but
potential's
for
definitely
us,
there.
we're looking at
It's
something
looking
like
high.
maybe something to fill the void of like the fact that we never got a Bully sequel, the idea of a game where you go
Oh
on
yeah,
adventures in the world of this school while
that
also
would be
having to
cool.
do some classes. The only other thing we have like that is a Persona game, but in terms of that other type of feel, you know, we're looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy for that.
Hogwarts
We've
looks
seen some
good though.
gameplay. It does look pretty impressive, but
It
we
does
still
look
have a
good.
lot of questions that need
It looks
answering.
clean.
Still, we're looking forward to checking it out when it releases holiday 2022 for all the major
I'll have to
consoles.
watch it, man.
Now down to number 1, you guessed it, of course, it's God of War Ragnarok. We're really, really excited for this follow-up to
God of
Kratos
War
and Atreus'
Ragnarok.
first adventure.
You
It
know,
seems like now
it's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing. I didn't think God of War, the other one, that was good, and it was like only 5 hours. But man, that story. Yeah, I haven't even played the other God of Wars, but that story, God of War story, is
after the
it's
events of the
it's a
first,
10 out of
you know, or
10.
rather the
It's
new
pretty good.
saga, the God of War
I
2018
mean,
game,
like you
the
actually
events of
kind of
that game, the
feel something for these
ramifications are
characters.
seemingly coming home
So
to roost here, with
they,
Freya
I
seemingly
don't
being
care.
more of an
It's like
antagonist,
story
and
driven, and
Thor
that's
possibly
fine.
being
You get
involved. He
little,
was teased
you
when
know,
this game was
side
first
quests, do
announced,
this
so
and that,
we're excited to see
upgrade
where
your
this
armor.
goes. It looks like bigger
It's dope.
worlds,
And it doesn't
more
even have a
detail,
multiplayer.
more
It doesn't even have
combat
a
options.
multiplayer.
But for
But
us,
this
to
game
be
don't
honest,
need a
it might sound silly,
multiplayer.
but we're just really looking forward to seeing where this story
But
goes.
this is,
Because
it was
God of War
good.
2018 was absolutely
God of War was
beautiful.
good. Yeah,
If you're just looking
2018
for
was,
cool
it
stuff
was.
or a heartwarming story about a
It
father
was.
and a son, there's kind of something for everybody, as much as that's a cheesy phrase. It's for real, dude. So
It
we're
is for
really
everybody.
looking
I
forward
agree
to
with
God of
that.
War Ragnarok and seeing where it
Combat's
takes
fun.
things, and it's releasing
Story,
for
you're
PlayStation
paying
November
attention.
9th,
You're not just like following
2022.
along.
Those are the games we're really looking
That
forward to,
was
but of course we've
WVid.
got more that we couldn't
WVid.
fit in the list.
Do
So
not.
the first is The Last of Us Part 1 remake of the original game.
I don't give a freak
Also,
about a remake.
Sons of the
I'm
Forest,
sorry.
the follow-up to The Forest,
But
finally seems like it's dropping this year.
The God of War
Sonic Frontiers
Ragnarok,
is
it'll be
also
good, man.
seemingly
It'll be
dropping
good.
this year.
It's
We're looking forward to
legit
seeing how that one
a good
shakes
game.
out.
If you
Also,
got PS Plus,
Outlast Trials.
if you
As
can
of
get
the
it for
time
free,
of this video,
yeah,
we don't have a date,
it's
but we're hoping
definitely
to
a
see
good
this
game.
year. Also, Soul Hackers 2.
Alright.
Like we said, those are the
Well,
games we're looking
WVid. If you like it, subscribe. And thanks to Gameranx, they are definitely, if you're not subscribed to them, subscribe to them, guys, and like this video. Go watch it for yourself. They're good people. They are definitely one of my favorite gaming channels and stuff that do information. They got a bunch of just unique stuff over gaming. It's not really like them playing games. It's just them going talking about games. But anyways, thank you. You know, shout out to Gameranx once again. Definitely go over there and subscribe. And if you're here on this channel, well, why don't you subscribe? If you made it this far, if you just viewing, go ahead. Go ahead, subscribe. All right, all right. I appreciate it though. I appreciate you if you tuned in. If you watch this long, thank you very much. And I think that's my cue to leave. This is Unlow. I keep it on the low.